We're live,
Hey.
Queenette. We were already very excited and pumped because we were talking about, training and working out and money and luck and success and all that stuff. So, yeah, if you feel that, the topic that I'm addressing today with Queenette is relatable to anyone that you know, well, you know what to do. You tag them below and you let them know that, hey, this is going to be a great conversation because we're going to talk about how to normalize the 5-figure months. And yeah, I mean, sometimes the topic of,
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to share it.
I'm like, oh my God, some people are already there listening. I was like, who's there? Where's the crowd?
I know. I'm trying to share it. Okay. Let's see.
Okay. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right. So let me introduce yourself to Queenette, okay? Because and I have some notes here, and it's so worth it for me to take the notes because she has accomplished so many things, and you'll love Queenette. So Queenette helps her clients sell with confidence, reach more people, and generate more sales in their business. So she helps her clients normalize making $25,000 a month or more in their business with a high ticket offer. She has spoken at Georgetown Business School, the City University of New York, and New York City Department of Education, just to name a few. So she's done more than that. And she went from a struggling coach earning about $1,200 to making six figures 6 months later. And now she helps other coaches do the same. So I repeat, in case you didn't get that. So she went from a struggling coach earning around $1,200 until making six figures within 6 months. Okay, so you got that right. So here's Queenette Nwobodo.
Thank you, Fabia. What a wonderful intro. Thank you so much for having me here on your platform. I mean, we laughed so much before we came on here.
Yeah, no, that's what I do. I laugh a lot. So you might as well like it also, or else, I mean, just all right. So I know for anyone that starts something or want to accomplish something greater than themselves, the road is no straight line. So I would say, how zigzaggy was your path, to where you're at today, and what made you stick to the online business world? Because you could have gone elsewhere.
So true. That is so true. Well, let me take you back a little bit. I remember I have a background in school counseling. I remember sitting at my desk as a school counselor, right? And I looked up one day and I was like, God, is this it? I was just like, is this it? Like, it wasn't, I was happy with the kids, with the family. I was happy to be there, but something was calling me for like to have a bigger impact. I kept seeing women in my vision and like what I could be doing, how I could be speaking, lives I could be transforming, right? So I went online at that time. I don't know if you're familiar with Periscope. Periscope?
Yes, I remember Periscope. Oh my God, does it still exist, by the way?
I think so. I think so.
Oh, okay.
I know. So I went on Periscope and I was watching. So I saw people like, live streaming and all these things, right? I said, oh, I want to do this. So I started live streaming. I'm like, all right, let me build an audience, right? Let me build this thing. Like so I jumped right into coaching while I was still a school counselor, right? Just to see, okay, what is this all about? So believe it or not, I don't know if it's because of the way I talk, I started to build an audience, right? So people were like, yes, Queenette, preach, all of these things. So I was like, okay, so people are liking this. So let me make an offer. Fabienne, I made an offer.
Wow.
4 people bought it.
What?
That's how
On Periscope? On Periscope. Oh my
But
God.
listen, there was so many people watching. So when I made the offer and only 4 people bought it, at my price point at that time was $297 for coaching.
Wow.
I know. So that's what
Wow.
it's really 1,188. I will never forget that number because it reminds me of where I come from. And so when 4 people bought it, I was devastated. I'm not, now I have like a different view on things, like, but I was devastated. I was like, oh my goodness, all these people are clapping. They're like, Queenette, yes, I love this. And then you make an offer and only 4 people buy. So I was just like, this is not sustainable. $1,200 in the last 6 months, like that can't pay anything. Like, it's not enough. And so honestly, I was like, somebody has figured this out and I need some help. And that's how I invested in my first coach. At that time, this is how I remember it. I was like, wait, it's gonna take me 3 school counseling checks to pay for coaching. That was my experience with high ticket coach. I was like, wait, you mean 3 of my school counseling checks? I could not believe it. But then something inside of me said, well, one day you get to be that woman. Like, you get to be that one day. And so I went into high ticket coaching really early on. That was actually my first investment in inside this whole online space. So that's how I got started.
Wow. Wow. And what is like very it's great with your journey is that you were not afraid to actually hire your first coach like quite early in your journey.
Yeah.
It was early in your journey, because I know that there are a lot of people that are still waiting, or they're wondering if they know enough, or or they want to rule the world on their own and think they can do it all on their own. But you already had that wisdom and recognized that you needed some help to be able to reach your goals faster, and that's amazing. I mean, so yeah, so if you are listening and you're wondering like if that could be a great move for you to hire your first coach, I definitely recommend that you do, because like for me, I know it took a lot of time, and it's because I had that drive and thought that I could learn everything at a high speed, which was not the case. I mean, at a point, like, you have to recognize that you need that help. So you mentioned the 1188, like those numbers, that first income that you got as a coach, as an online coach. So you were able to shift that into, becoming a 6-figure coach within 6 months. So what would you say was your biggest mindset shift that had to happen during that period for you to be able to receive that?
Amen. That's so good. That's such a good question. Because we're talking about being able to receive money at a bigger capacity. I think it was my mindset. I think it was what I started to believe was possible because of the people that I was around now. And so, like, for example, like that coach that I invested in was already making millions, right? And so being around her vibration, being around that kind of conversation, she normalized high ticket for me right out of the gate. And so when I was selling high ticket, I was already in amongst that environment, that vibration, that conversation. So I started to become it, if that makes any sense. So I would say the mindset shift was becoming and being around that environment that was normal. That was the regular conversation packaging. So when I got there, I was like, oh, so you start rubbing, shoulders with the people that are already in there, already successful doing it. And all of a sudden it's like, wait, I'm supposed to. And so I had this I'm supposed to posture, and then it happened. That makes.
Got it. And it all says a lot about the power of community. The fact that, when you surround yourself with people who have the same vision, or who have the same ambition, and who are doing things maybe like that you aspire to be doing, well, this is a great place to be, because this is how you learn to grow, and this is how you become, an expanded version of yourself, right?
Totally.
Yeah. So I know that we spoke about that before our interview, before we went live, about training, and going to the gym, and you were sharing with me that this week you're more on a recovering phase with your training. So I'm curious to hear your view on what you feel are the similarities between, like, you start your coaching journey and you evolve with it, and then you start, let's say, your getting in shape or staying in shape journey, and how it evolves. So I want you to paint, like, if you feel that there are similarities between what you do professionally as a coach and what you do as someone who trains and stay fit.
Your questions are phenomenal. Just for the record, I just want to say, like, it's such a good question.
Thanks.
Okay, so yes. So here's how I think about it, right? You are an athlete, so you can appreciate this. So when I was in high school, I used to run track. So I already got used to being coached, and I already knew that somebody knows something I don't know. And so I have to be humble enough to come into a situation and say, you know what? I don't know how to do this, right? And so when it comes to training, right away I got again a coach, even if it was like a PDF at the time before I started getting physical training and all those things. I wanted to get the knowledge of someone who has already been there before me. And so buying knowledge, I think, is single-handedly how I was able to go from 1,200 to six figures 6 months later, is because I just bought speed and I bought knowledge of someone who has already been there. So what they did was they kind of helped me skip steps and roadblocks and all the barriers of all the mistakes I was already making. I was like, well, just teach everything you know. And I did. And then when I made an offer for people, and then when she showed me how to do proper marketing, like how to really content, like the real content marketing, right? Which is what I love to show my clients, right? How to really position yourself as the expert and make 25K months something super easy and something natural. Then it was just like, well, why go through all the stumbling blocks? Someone has already been there. So I buy knowledge and I buy speed. And so it might cost more on the high ticket, but it saved me. Like, so when I step back and think about it now, the first year being in a business and earning six figures is unheard. People don't even make six figures. I didn't know that
Exactly.
at the time.
Yeah.
I had no idea about these statistics. So even then I was just like, well, this is not that bad. I didn't realize, like, girl, you're doing so well. Now I know, because like now I realize like everything has like leveled up. I'm like, oh, okay. So now I see what it actually takes. And so I would say buying knowledge, I want the knowledge of someone who has already been where I am, who can help me skip steps. Not that I don't do the work, but skip unnecessary roadblocks to the success. So yeah.
Now, while you were talking, there's something that popped my mind, because like you said, people don't do that, within 6 months. Like, it's very rare that people reach six figures within those 6 months. And you've done the work and you are coachable enough to be able to be in the right environment, listen to the advice that you were given, and implementing these actions. So I want you to be very honest with me and let me know if, when that happened, did you feel that it was okay or that it wasn't enough?
When that happened, I honestly thought I still wasn't doing that well. I know it sounds silly. I know. Now in hindsight, I'm like, are you nuts? Right? But at that time, I'm thinking, millions. Like I'm like, give it all. Like, 500,000, 250,000. I'm still thinking, and I know maybe it's the ambitious. We're driven. We're all those things. Competitive. Everything
Yeah.
you think of, right? Highly motivated, right? So even then, I was like, oh, okay, not bad. I couldn't really enjoy it. So I was on to like, okay, so how do you know what I mean? And so that's why, like, I love this lifestyle-based coaching that I have now, unlike the burnout type of thing that I had before, which was like doing all the things in all the places, doing all the launches and all the Facebooks, and now is just a completely different person and lifestyle. So that's what I help my clients with. It's like, let's do this lifestyle-based type business where we get to travel, enjoy our lives,
Yeah.
have good eats, spend time with the children, see our friends, and still help people transform their lives, right? So yeah, I didn't really, to be honest, I didn't appreciate it at the time.
And I feel that the key thing that you shared here is that, when it first happened to you, it's because you were so much in that hustler mode and still in the mentality that you had to do more, be more, and do all of that to be able to make sure that you still succeed. But then now you're like, I'm in a place where, the lifestyle is my priority, where my intentions are my priority, where, why I project to the world is that I'm ready to receive all of that. So to me, like, it says a lot about like the mindset. And again, like, I wanted to stress that out because I know that there are a lot of people when they are starting their coaching business and they reach, let's say they sign their first high ticket. And then instead of just like sitting a little bit and enjoying it and celebrating it, they're like, okay, I want more of these.
Right.
Like, what should I do next? Like, what's the next strategy I can do? Or where can I look that I haven't looked yet to add that other, 5-figure to my income and stuff like that. So yeah, that's great that you shared that. I would love you to share, because I know that you've done already like a few case studies of your clients, featuring them on your personal profile. But for someone who doesn't really know, like, what you do, or how you lead your clients from, not earning what they want to
Mhm.
earning like those 5-figure months. So what would you say that the person who's working with you has or looks like when they start and then when they finish working with you?
That's a good question. So when they start, they're usually in a place, they're probably the responsible one in their family. They're highly, highly driven, ambitious, a go-getter, and they see a bigger life from themselves than the rest of the people around them. And so
Hmm.
they're like the unicorn, usually the unicorn, and they've been doing the hustle bustle method so far. So they're posting everywhere. They're trying to run ads, they're trying to do all of the things. They're literally experiencing overwhelm and burnout at this point, and they're looking for a different way of being, doing, and having the lifestyle that they want. So my people that usually come to me are at that point where they're like, you know what, there has to be a different way. There has to be an easy, more aligned way where I can enjoy. Like I have 3 small children. Well, they're not small. One is 14, but the youngest is 8. But they're still, I'm still
Yeah, they
responsible.
still need you.
Right, you know what I
Sure.
mean? And so, being able to now I'm able to homeschool them. I spend more time with them now because I work completely from home and stuff like that. Where like I get a chance to be with them, travel with them. Like when we're thinking about our summer plans, like I don't have to wait for summer. We're doing all these things whenever we want. Just being able to pay for the lifestyle, the massage, just things that I just never. Like I was like, who has time for a massage? Who has time for a facial? So like who has like I used to think like who has time for these things, not realizing that that is the point of creating a legacy business where we can pass on generational wealth, not just in form of money, but lifestyle. So my kids, like when we like my husband and I work out in the morning, in the evening we go for our evening, like they're seeing what it means to live wealth like in a 360 kind of way. So by the time a client comes to me, they're ready to shift their lifestyle, but also they're ready to work deeper and faster with people. So usually they're ready to shift to high ticket. So I've helped them restructure their offer. So they only need 2 to 3 clients, maybe 4 clients a month in order to hit 25K months consistently. And I stress consistently because I have been in a situation where it's feast and famine. You make it one month, you don't make it another month. You make it one month. And so really teaching them how to market properly to consistently generate 25K or more a month, by restructuring their offer that they're probably undercharging for right now. I know I used to charge $297 for coaching. So we're here, helping them restructure that and not working harder. This was the thing I didn't understand. It's not about doing more. In fact, doing less, but using your superpower in order to attract high ticket coaching clients. So I would say that's like the kind of person that usually come is like, I'm tired of doing all the things. I'm exhausted. Like I'm exhausted. Can I have the lifestyle? Can I not hate my business? Because at one point I literally gained so much weight. My eyes were red. I was sitting on the computer. I don't want to say 24 hours because it sounds like is an exaggeration, but it felt that way. Like literally, okay, what's next? And it was just like this is not sustainable. I want legacy. I want to pass on generational wealth that's easy, that's elegant, that I can like have this conversation with you without thinking, well, what do I have to do next? Nothing. Just a handful of clients I have, and they're all taken care of because we go deeper, but we get there faster.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's amazing how you share it. And also like um the fact that it's just like that shift from the hustling mentality, and how, it's not people's fault. I mean, I'm thinking about this. Hustle is everywhere. Like and it's been like they give you a trophy, like, or an award whenever like you claim that you work 24/7. Oh my god, you're a superhero. Or like you work so much, or you earn so much by working so much, as if like you're praised because like you're exhausted and you're burning out, and that's a nice thing. And you spoke about legacy, and that's a good point, because like we have children and we want to educate them in a way that they see, and they can evaluate their own possibilities when they get there. So when they see parents overwork, like, and they are exhausted and depressed and impatient and not having time with their kids, well, guess what will happen? Like, this is what you show your kids. And then I'm not saying that all your kids are going to be like that, but they have more chances of becoming that because they learn a lot about what they see. right? So thinking about like what type of life we want our kids to live, um there's definitely a way, and Quinette has proven that with the many stories that she shares, and we align on that way too, because I'm definitely at the same place. The lifestyle is so much more important, because when you're at the end of it, you'll regret that time where you worked too much and when you didn't spend time with your family. So I know that you have a resource that you can share with coaches if they want to normalize those $25,000 months. So let us know about it.
Sure. So it's a free life class. I'll come back and drop the link inside the chat. It's called How to Make a Six-Figure Income, Share Your Message, and Change Lives, even if you're just getting started. So it'll take you a little deeper into how to name your program, how to price your program, I'll show you exactly how to get 4 people um, a month and hit your income goals, right? And so it doesn't matter if you're starting from zero or you already started a business, but you're not generating consistent sales in your business. That free life class is really going to walk you through it, from the pricing, the packaging, the positioning, we didn't talk about positioning, which is very, very important to set yourself apart from other coaches, right? So I'll drop the link in there.
Yeah.
Yours to have.
Okay, perfect. And that will be a great compliment from what we discussed about like today on this interview. And it was amazing to have you here, Quinette. Oh
Thank
my
you for having
God.
me.
Yeah, we had so much fun. So again, if you want to actually go and have that live class, the the link will be in the comments below. And Quinette, thank you so much for coming. It was a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me, Fabia.
All right.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.